my course topic is World Literature 1123. Now this is a course I designed for a current World Literature instructor for his Summer Session 2 course. Now for this project I'm going to focus on the Week 1 folder that houses Lessons 1 and 2. But first I do a quick rundown of everything that's housed under the Course Information subheading and the Course Content Area subheading. Now all the content for both the course information and course content area were created by me. I did, however, get some guidance from the instructor on the goals of each lesson. So with his guidance, I built content that would help guide the students through their various activities and promote optimal learning. Now the target audience, of course, is undergraduate students who are a combination of freshmen, sophomores, juniors, and seniors. Now this course is required by the University of Arkansas, and all the students have already completed the first World Literature course, so there's some familiarity with what to expect from the course. However, it is not obvious at how many students are familiar with Blackboard and whether any of the target audience have actually taken a hybrid course like this before. So, one of the first things the students will be required to do is complete an Introduction Pre-Skilled survey. Now this is to assess their knowledge, background using Blackboard, and since it's one of my goals to promote optimal learning by meeting the different abilities of each student, I included some questions that would help the instructor get to know how each student learns. In other words, do they learn better by watching films, slides, listening to audio, reading text, etc. Then to help and promote an online community, each student will be required to complete on the first day of class an introduction blog. This blog will allow each student to introduce themselves and let the instructor and classmates get to know each other a little better. Now, in order to enhance collaboration, each student is required to respond to at least 2 other student posts. This way, each student will at least read 2 posts and learn something about 2 students. Now, the hope is that they'll read every post, but this is obviously not going to be the case every time. So, just by them reading 2, it's still good. Now, another key is student assessment. I want to make sure that students actually understand the material. This is crucial, especially during a summer course that moves so fast. And obviously, we're all familiar with that. So as part of assessing each student, I've included quizzes that ask them questions that relate to the literature that was read. They are to answer questions that requires them to reflect on the literature and actually think outside the box. So since this is a hybrid learning course, there will be, in addition to the readings and supplementary materials available on Blackboard, there'll be class lectures. So a lot of the meanings, like the themes, motives, symbolic meanings, etc., of the literature will be discussed in class. So the quizzes will be a good test to assess whether the students actually paid attention in class and whether or not the instructor needs to spend a little more time on a particular piece of literature. So this is why this hybrid learning approach works so well with this summer course. Now also, there are so many varying resources included in the lessons that students, in addition with the class lectures and discussions, hopefully should not have any problems grasping material, but of course it's not always the case, so there are these assessment mechanisms that will help the instructor pinpoint problem areas. Now also, to enhance collaboration and give students a hands-on approach to designing their midterm final, I've included a class wiki. There will be a total of 5 class wiki posts, but for this project, since I'm focusing on 2 lessons, there will be 1 wiki contribution. Now this wiki post will require that each student post 5 questions for each required entry. Now they'll create a question that's either true, false, and multiple choice, short answer format. I'll specify this in the instructions. So during the midterm and final, the instructor will take 20 questions from the class wiki. So this assignment is a good way to get each student involved, kind of a hands-on assignment. And it'll get them to think about the text and create questions that will be on their final midterm. So they'll kind of be involved in the whole process. I think this will be a real good activity for the course. Now let's go ahead and take a quick look at the course and see what I have so far. Alright, so this is my home page. First thing let's look at the introduction class blog. Now this is the first blog post they'll make. And let's click on that real quick. As you can see here, I've got instructions and I've got some more detailed instructions below. So for example, how many paragraphs, etc. And they were to comment on at least 2 other student posts, as I mentioned earlier. So that's one of the first assignments. Then let's go look at everything under the course information subheading. So there's the home page, which will take you to the home page, obviously. I got announcements, which will, as I mentioned in the previous presentation, it will just list course milestones and feedback from the instructor and just pretty much any information that the students need to know. So it's a way for the instructor to communicate with the students. Here's about the instructor. I haven't added this yet, but it'll be a page pretty much with a picture of the instructor and some brief information about his background, education, etc. Now for the syllabus, I've got the actual syllabus, the text version, I've got a visual syllabus, and I've got a course timeline, and I've got the reading and assignments broke down into separate visuals. So let's look at the text version of the syllabus first. So right here, if you click on there, it'll download. I already got it opened up. So here it is right here. Now, his original syllabus was a mess. I mean, it was just a page full of words. I mean, there was no organization. It was just so hard to read. So what I did is I broke everything down. I chunked all the information, and I added my own content as well. But as you can see here, it's pretty easy to follow. It's organized. So I've got everything kind of separated and chunked. So you got, course requirements. I made this nice little box with all the points and everything, so it's easy to read. Go down, I've got everything broken down here. And I've got information on the projects, midterm, etc. So as you can see, that's the syllabus, so it's pretty easy to follow. And I've got the visual syllabus. And as you can see, I've got a little wheel here with all the different assignments. So if they want to, for example, see how many points the midterm is worth, they just go here and they follow the line. Okay, 150 points, and it's got a brief description about the midterm. So again, an easy way for them to access information. And then let's go to course timeline. Again, as a course, this is a interactive timeline that I created. It may take a minute to load. I used a program called Time Glider, and this is the free version. So you can see here, it's got a little introduction to the course schedule. And here's the timeline. So I've got everything broken down. So the red circles are the readings, and triangles are when assignments are due. So let's just look at one real quick. So you got the introduction to the course. So when you click on it, you'll open up a box, and each box has the learning objectives for that reading. So it's the same for all the readings. So let's look at Voltaire, for example. Same thing, the learning objectives are listed. Now, if this is kind of hard for them to follow, they have the option to open a list view. So just click on the arrow there, click on list, and there it is, nice and organized. And same thing, you click on it, it'll give the learning objectives. So again, this is a way for them to easily access the information. Let's go back. Okay, let's look at the reading schedule. Now here's an image that I created. So as you can see, it's kind of broken down into chunks, separated by weeks. I've got the dates, the readings, and the pages in the text. And the assignment schedule, same thing, very similar to the reading schedule. I created a visual that just breaks everything down, due dates, description of the assignments, and the points. Now let's move on to the course content area. So the first one, again, one of the first things we're going to do is the course introduction survey. As I mentioned earlier, is the pre-skills survey. I did this using a program called Serves. And you see here I've got questions about Blackboard, how familiar they are with Blackboard. And I also have questions about whether they have access to the proper tools, in other words, a computer, microphone, webcam, which they're going to need to record their final project presentation. So I've got questions here about whether they have computers and all that. And if they don't, here's another question. So if they need me to find them a computer to use, they can. And I also got questions about what's the easiest way for them to learn, whether it's visuals, audios, text, etc. So just this kind of way for the instructor to assess the students' needs and their and how well they are familiar with Blackboard. So let's go back here. Alright, then we got the reading and assignments. So all the lessons are housed in this content area. I've got everything broken down into weeks. So for this project, we're focusing on week 1, which I've got 2 lessons. So Jonathan Swift's The Modest Proposal is 1 lesson. I got to add that to the title here. And Voltaire's Candide is lesson 2, which I also got to add. I got to add the description as well. So let's click on Jonathan Swift. As you can see here, I got an image of the author, of the writer, and I got under each image, I got a brief quote from the text, from the reading. And this, again, these are all part of the public domain I got from Creative Commons, the images, this one as well. So I've got everything broken down to, I got learning and reading objectives. I've got readings, so I've got the class text, and then additional texts that are available online, such as the e-text and audio text right here. And then go down, I got supplemental resources. So here's one of a guest discussion done by BBC. It's a 45-minute video. So, and then moving down, I've got the discussion question here. This is one of the assessments. Now I'm going to create a separate folder, a content folder called activities, and house this in that folder. So, and let's go to the second folder, lesson 2. I got an image with a quote, got lesson objectives, text location, get e-text and audio text links, and supplemental resources. I got class lecture video, and this is a video I created based on PowerPoint slides that I also created for this work, Candide. And all they gotta do is they can hit play, and the video will start. Now since these are slides and it moves fast, they'll have to pause it, and they can read the slide and then hit play again, and so forth. Now this will be available after the lecture, so before that class lecture on Candide, this video will not be available. It will only be after the class. And I got class discussion questions, so these are questions they should kind of ponder on before they meet in class the following day. And then I've got lesson activities, so you click on lesson activities. And I've got, again, a discussion board question and quiz 1. And that's pretty much it. Thank you for your time.